Hello, friends. AI adoption in enterprise is accelerating. The challenge is no longer access to AI, but how it is effectively used in real operation environments. With this adoption, some organizations see measurable improvements in decision making and in productivity, while others enable the same capabilities but with no measurable or meaningful impact, which leaves us with a question. Are organizations truly operationalizing AI in a way that drives measurable value, or are they simply enabling AI features without fundamentally changing how work gets done? Welcome to another day on Build for Scale, where enterprise tech meets business growth. My name is Loveth Wachuku. I help enterprises build secure and scalable IT infrastructure. My guest today is Segun Iyonda, who is an IT leader in the financial industry. Segun, thank you for joining us today. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
There is a lot of strategic conversations around AI, from transformation to automation to intelligence. If you look at how organizations experience AI, you will find out that it is less about standalone platforms and more about how AI is integrated into the tools people use every day, whether it's a productivity tool or custom solution or analytical systems or security solutions. AI is increasingly becoming a part of everyday workflow. So instead of looking at AI in theory, it is important that we understand how it functions, how it operates, how it is used in real operating environments. From your perspective of how AI has been deployed over time, where would you say AI is making the most visible impact in a day-to-day operation?
Okay, thank you so much. AI, like you said, it has really created a whole lot of solutions. And some of the problems that we used to have in enterprise, right? So we're beginning to see AI coming to terms to, solving those problems. But it has not really, solve all the problems. We are beginning to see impacts majorly around digitalization, right? You see a fintech as an instance. You see a fintech, using it for things like fraud detection.
Yeah.
You also see a fintech, using it for reconciliation. Now, even not just fintech, financial institution provides they generate terabytes of data every day.
Yeah.
And, going through that, especially when you talk about log management as well. So going through that every day, you're beginning to see that it's a very tough time, right?
Yeah,
true. When I go through with my team, reviewing logs, we can spend hours trying to review logs, right? Security logs. Now, but with the advent of AI tools, so you can easily just, use AI to actually understand what is going on without you having to spend hours. So we're beginning to see a shift. What AI is doing right now is being able to remove the frictions, right?
Yeah.
That we have, especially in enterprise infrastructure. Now we're beginning to see how AI is now coming to terms to help us. But more importantly, right, one of the major aspects is actually around speed. Rather than, we've not really seen a very big moment, in using AI in enterprise technology. What we've seen is AI helping organization to move faster.
Okay.
Some of the things that used to take hours to do before now takes minutes.
Yeah.
Before you know it, almost instantly, you can make decisions without errors, right? So it is really a bedrock, right? We are in the early stage of it.
Yep.
Especially in enterprise, infrastructure and enterprise systems. we're in the early stage, but I believe that, as time goes on, more capabilities will continue to come.
Yeah.
And we will see how those capabilities, will be able to continue to push, enterprise into doing better.
That's interesting. Thank you for the amazing contribution. We've seen organizations shift from standalone tools, right, to AI being embedded directly into the enterprise systems. All right. Now, we are talking about alignment. How well does the AI tool fit into the organization's process, organization's data, organization's decision making or workflow? Because without alignment, the AI is more of a feature than a capability, which means that your AI tool exists, but it does not produce any valuable outcome, which means that your AI tool exists but does not drive any meaningful or measurable values, which leads to my question. From your experience, what differentiates organizations that are getting the most value from AI from those that are barely using it at the surface level?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you see, if you take a look at some of the organizations that make better use of AI, one of the things we need to understand is you have to define your problem. What is it you want AI to do for you? So we've seen a situation where organizations will just adopt AI. They talk about AI, they follow the AI buzz. One of the reasons that, those organizations are not going to actually get value. But you have to take a look at it. What is it I want to solve? Do I want to reduce cost? Do I want to move faster? Do I want to increase productivity? Do I want to reduce error rates? What is the main use case that I want to use AI for?
It has to be specific.
It has to be specific. So you need to really put that specificity into place. And it's not just from a manager level. We're talking from the organization top down, right? So where the organization set what they want to use AI for. And we also need to understand something about metrics. It is important that you define what your success is, what your success looks like, right? So your success, it's very important. Okay, what is it going to be like? Is it that at the end of the day, we want to be able to increase people's productivity, by 2x? Or what is it we want AI to do for us? Now, those organizations who actually, specify what their use case and what they want to use AI for, those organizations are the ones that actually benefit in the full integration of AI into their system. Yeah, they get the value. So they are not the ones that we use it at just a surface level. It's not like you have a staff who goes ahead and type ChatGPT. Do you understand that even by you working in Microsoft as an instance, or Microsoft Outlook, you have the Copilot right there on
embedded.
You can summarize your email for you, right? When you're working on Excel, you have Copilot there. You can do some tasks for you right there on the Excel. But that is you bringing in AI into your productivity work too. That is for an organization who wants to increase productivity. But you're not an Excel-based organization. Let's say, for instance, you are in FMCG, right? Where you have a production floor, right? Where you don't need Excel. You don't need emails are not your major priorities. What do you want? You want to reduce error rate. You want when a manager passes down a particular specifications to the floor, that floor does it as it should, right? The systems that they pass it through, their automation system also does exactly what they pass it through. You can use AI to actually catch errors at every single point of the production line. So there are different ways organization can use AI based on your own need. But what we see today is that a lot of companies just talk about AI. And that's one of the reasons why it's also difficult to be able to get approvals on the C-level side, right?
Yeah.
It's very difficult because you want to talk to a CEO or a CEO want to talk to a board, right? Now, you can't just come and talk about how you want to increase IT costs because you want to bring in AI to everyone in the organization. Now, the question is, what is the real value? If you cannot provide that real value, then they won't approve it. Yeah,
There'll be no adoption.
Exactly.
So we've talked about alignment, all right? Your AI has to be aligned or custom fit to a particular solution or a particular need or to your organization, right? Now, let's look at AI from the aspect of trust and oversight. When AI becomes embedded into enterprise systems, it begins to influence the way decisions are made. It can suggest actions. It can automate processes. It can produce output that people rely on directly. Now, this introduces a new dynamics. On one hand, there is efficiency. On the other hand, there is risk. Especially when the outcomes are accepted without validation. So the conversation is no longer about capability. It's now about trust and oversight. Example, I have AI embedded in my systems and I say I want to reduce costs by 50%. AI does what it's supposed to do. It checks all my operations and see how to reduce costs by 50% and probably gives me an output. On the other hand, I can tell my tool, transfer 1 million naira from my from the company's account to my account, clear all traces, all right, balance what is remaining in the account with what we have in our books, ensure the figures are balanced. Or I can say for every 50 million deposited in the company's account, transfer 2% to my own account and balance the books to what we have in the account. Do you understand?
Yes.
This is where trust comes in. Now, I want to ask you this question. How are organizations balancing the efficiency AI brings with the need for validation, oversight, and accountability?
Okay, thank you. That's actually a very big one because especially in regulated environment, right? Where you're regulated by SEC, by CBN, and some other agencies as well. You see, one of the major challenge is that I'm an advocate of AI, but I'm an advocate of structured use of AI.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not just about putting AI into your workflow and let AI just do whatever it wants, right? There are still AI hallucinations, right? So one of the major way you can do that is what we call human in the loop approach.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you see, that human in the loop, one of the major way is that you put someone that actually validates what the AI does. You see, at this point where we are right now, auditing has become so much important.
True.
You see, it's not just about just putting AI, just accepting the output that the AI generates. It's about how did the AI arrive at that output. You need experts who actually do understand how the AI actually arrive at that approach, at that output. You can't just, have the AI, just like an example that you said. Someone needs to approve that transaction.
Yeah.
So if there is nobody in that transaction, right, there are threshold limits, there are approval limits, even across different levels, right? Let's all understand that AI does not take over our governance approach. You see, governance in enterprise is very important. It helps with risk management, right? It helps to create so much improvement that does not necessarily have to make your organization to be exposed to risk, right? That's what governance does. And AI does not take away governance. So if your governance framework, you have your board resolutions which are stated that so transaction limits must be approved in the bank by so person, signatory A, signatory B, signatory C. It does not, even if you bring in AI into the workflow, does not take over the responsibility of those people that are already in your governance framework. Like I said, it's not just what AI does right now is to help you with the speed. We've seen a lot of improvement around speed, the speed at which you do things, but not necessarily around a full automation. We have not seen a full AI adoption in the enterprise at the moment.
You think so?
Yes. Here is my reason. As a developer, if you're a developer, you can have a developer write a code, right? You can have AI write a code, right? And AI can finish writing that code in almost, just a few weeks ago, we started talking about Codex 5.4, right? Codex 5.4 now, there's a lot of conversation around how it debugs, do this and that. Before that, we're talking about Claude. Before that, we're talking about Gemini. Now, where we are right now, we're beginning to see where you hand over work to AI, right? Especially on the coding side of things, on the agentic side of things, and the AI actually builds the product for you.
Yeah.
But you see, in enterprise, especially in regulated environment, that's not going to be the case, because the challenge is that the moment whatever the AI does, the risk of it is still, it's very, very huge for the organization, especially in a regulated environment. So because of that, we're being very careful on where you bring AI. You bring AI where you need speed, where you need to catch errors, where you need to reduce cost, but not necessarily on the governance. Now, we also need to understand that organizations have started looking at how to start bringing AI framework.
Okay.
Now, if you're being audited by maybe the Big Four, they start asking you about your AI policy, right?
Sure.
Where's your AI policy? We want to see your AI policy.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they understood that we still need to provide governance on top of AI in order for AI to be able to fully function in an enterprise.
Yeah.
So you can't just deploy. I see AI as a junior staff, technology staff you brought in, and you just created
like a support.
Exactly. You give it a production environment, and you say, you know what, kill this Kubernetes cluster kill these Kubernetes pods whenever you think that something is wrong. Sometimes it might understood why he's killing it. Sometimes it might not even understand why he's killing it.
Yeah.
But you have to set boundaries, right? Okay, it has to be at this point, right? It has to be at that point. So like that example you gave now, someone needs to approve that transaction, right?
Okay.
Moving money from one place to the other, there are not really places where you want to put AI at this point, right?
Yeah.
Even if you put AI for volume, you also still need to have a human in the loop to approve it at this point where we are right now.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, we start putting governance into places, and those governance can actually now help organization to be able to now adopt it more further, right? Especially in a regulated environment. But for productivity and all the other things, my team now, we do a lot now, right? Even as small as the team is. Some organization planned a lot of recruitment this year, and they had to scale down on some of them, right?
Yeah.
See what AI can do, right? And that is the approach, but not necessarily you putting that and putting it in the transaction side, right? You want to use it for a fraud detection, for this and for several other things as well, but not necessarily for performing some sensitive regulatory related features at this moment.
So what you're saying that in Nigeria currently, AI is not placed in governance, it is placed in just operations. That what you're saying?
At the moment, right? Most AI capabilities are being placed operational, right? Not necessarily. We're creating governance on top of it, AI, right?
Yeah.
Governance to actually have oversight on AI, not necessarily AI replacing governance.
Now you mentioned governance. My question now is, what do you think will happen if AI is being introduced into transactions just to make things fast? What happens when these AI tools are embedded into our governance system? Okay,
so now let me tell you what I think will happen, right? Let's be practical. Let's talk about scenarios now. Scenarios where you have a transaction, right? just because, let's say you want to automatically pay about 1,000 users, right? Almost at the same time, right? System already does that, right? So why do you want to bring AI into that yet? Now, one of the reasons why you want to bring AI into that is to maybe capture any error, right? Within that flow, right? Somebody is trying to send money from somewhere. There are fintechs now that are talking about their fraud detection system that are very superior. You talk about how are they achieving the fraud detection system? It's through AI, right? They brought in AI into their system. AI look at your past transactions and look at it and no, you can't be doing 5 million naira right now, right? Most of your previous transaction have been, then they lock you in for maybe about 24 hours for you to cool down. You call it a cool down period. So when you cool down, you now start seeing. But you see, that cool down period that was set was governance. Exactly. That cool down period that was set was governance, because the business came up to the risk ratio to understand that, okay, based on our risk management. In fact, I think CBN also just mandated it, right? That all fintechs, they should embed, all financial institutions should embed, AI, should embed fraud detection system into their system. Why? Because they've also seen that some of the fintech that have done it, that's actually helped them to improve capacity. But why would you want AI to be helping you, especially in transferring money to each other, right? The system already does that. But what AI can do for you is to help you catch errors, right? Catch fraudulent transactions, catch different frauds, right? That could be happening because they happen almost in split seconds, right? Then the other area right now is that creating governance on top of AI is very important.
Exactly.
We're beginning to see where some staff are going to, they will carry your your transaction statement, right? Your bank statements, they will put it on AI, say, okay, analyze, right? The question you want to ask yourself is that, what is happening? We're beginning to see a lot of data exposure. Right? Sure. So governance.
And so many, sorry to cut down, so many organizations are on this table, because when you see some tasks given to staff, all right, what they do, they just upload to an AI.
Yes.
Whether it is an agentic AI or it's just a mere generative AI like your ChatGPT, they just go on ChatGPT and upload and just instruct it on what to do, which is a huge data exposure. Because if regulators are to sanction or look into this company, it's going to be a huge problem for this company. So what are the ways around this?
Okay, so you see, it's actually an ongoing battle, right? At the moment, everybody, the CTOs, the CIOs, everybody is sitting down and asking ourselves these questions, right? How do we prevent data exposure, right? Now, one of the ways is that we want the AI adoption. We also want, to safeguard the organization from data exposure, right? Imagine the customer service agent who have gotten maybe about 50,000 requests over the time. Now, with the 50,000, issues, right? So maybe they ask her to provide a report. And those issues, reporting everything they have, customer names and BVN and some things inside. Now, she wants to provide a report. What's the first thing that will come into the person's head? It's going to take it, put it in Copilot or ChatGPT or something. Then say, okay, give me a report of this and this. Then before you know it, it's going to give you the report. But one thing it doesn't know is that you've also provided data for AI to also know more. So we are beginning to see a lot of issues around that. Now, solutions at the moment, the solution is not to stop AI. In fact, is to even use AI to capture it. Now, we start seeing some solutions, some data loss prevention solutions that are coming up now, right? That are beginning to, to start looking into it. They're not yet perfected yet, but I hope that in the next couple of months we should have solutions that will actually help us to detect, especially when you are uploading some of those files, right?
Yeah, sure.
Just because at the moment right now, if you download a file, you see data loss prevention policy. Your data loss prevention policy is that you set maybe on your endpoint could easily capture some of those issues, right?
Yeah.
And report it or block the person or take the person off the network or even remove the files, right?
Yeah.
So we're now starting to see some players in that, endpoint market
It's
trying
becoming stronger.
Yes, becoming stronger to see how their AI also can help with a whole lot of, a whole lot of, governance, right? Data loss prevention, especially around the AI, right? I think there are likes of, Cloudflare. I think Cloudflare also, came up with some solution last year where, AI cannot just go and scrape your website, right? Because now AI go ahead, script your website and for content and all of that. I think Cloudflare came up with a solution where people can actually, if you embed it into your solution, it can actually stop AI from actually going to your website and scrape, content, right? Because that's also one of data exposure, one of the issues that people are also having. So in all of this, data loss prevention policy needs to get more stronger.
Yes,
we also need to have much more robust AI policy, especially in the organization, that you're going to deploy on your network, right? That can help you, that can stop, customers, that can stop your staff from, causing harm through AI to your system. Yeah.
My take home from today's discussion is building a strong governance on AI.
Yes.
It is necessary, it is needed, because the truth is, so many organizations are not doing this. They are not building their governance on AI. And some organizations are watching their people utilize AI tools without officially adopting these tools. Because when you officially adopt it, then you can build a governance on it. Then you can set a policy around it. We've seen staff upload companies' data on likes of ChatGPT, all right, just to make work faster, which is wrong. Like I said, if these companies are to be audited, all right, they will really pay a huge fine. So my take home from today is the need to build governance around AI. Let's look at operational readiness. AI can only be as effective as the environment it operates in. All right. If data is fragmented, if processes are unclear, if the users don't understand how to use AI, even the most advanced AI capabilities will underperform, which is true. So the challenge is not about deploying AI. It is creating a condition for it to work effectively. In your experience so far in the enterprise system, what are the most common gaps that prevent organizations from fully realizing the value of AI in their day-to-day operations?
Okay. So for, the gaps, there are actually a lot, right? And I've just mentioned some. I mentioned earlier, use case. You need to define your use case.
Yeah.
Your data also need to be structured, right? So if you have data where, you have customer data where you have a lot of null feeds everywhere, right? Because why? Because you don't, your data are not structured, right? So AI will not be able to, do much around that.
Okay.
So there are other aspects of also you being able to communicate, right, the usefulness of those AI tools to your staff as well, right? Because the challenge is that we've seen a whole lot of tools, AI tools out there. There are a lot of embedded tools, right? Embedded tools with embedded AI, right? For instance, you can talk of CRM, you can talk of ERP systems.
Yeah.
Some of them already have those AI within them, right?
Yeah, true.
But because of lack of adoption and probably knowledge gap, right? Some of these, some of the staff are actually not making use of these AI tools, right? Let me give you an example. There's this CRM that's very popular, and one of the features that CRM have is actually you deploy your own chatbot with with AI. Okay. You can even bring your own AI tool, right? Bring maybe an anthropic, key you bring in into that particular CRM, right? Then people will be conversing with the chatbot directly from your website, from your portal, anywhere, like as if they're actually talking. And you can also look into your data. And also be giving meaningful responses, just like a customer service agent would. Now, how many people actually do know that these features exist there? And yet, because everybody's just looking at AI on the surface, they don't understand that. So there are tools that already have those AI embedded in them. In fact, quite a whole lot of tools that we use on a daily basis already have AI embedded into them right now. But how many people are actually realizing that, that full goal? So right now, before AI can function well in your environment, you need to do few things. You need to understand what your use case is. What do you want to use AI for? And also your data. You need to clean your data. Your data need to be clean. Then also, you also need to be, to properly educate your users on how to use those AI. That is at that point that you can have a good benefit of what AI can actually offer in your enterprise.
Thank you so much, Shegun. There's a lot of noise around AI, but value tends to come from targeted and well-defined use cases and not general adoption. If you were advising a CIO or a technology leader in the mid-sized organization, how would they approach AI adoption in a way that is focused, practical, and tied to measurable outcomes?
Okay. So one of the advice that I'm going to give, I'll give a CIO in a mid-sized environment is to pause and think. Take a pause and think about all the current solutions that you have within your environment. Look at them. Do they have the features you need? Now, what we've seen is that because of the buzzword, there are a lot of IT system salesperson everywhere. Coming to you, telling you about how this is going to do this for you, all the way everywhere. We have these AI systems that can do this for you, that can do that for you. But when you create overlap, right, among what you currently have and what those people were bringing, you might just see that it's just one feature that actually doesn't exist in the one you currently have. In fact, that feature you might not even necessarily need it at that point. Now, my own advice would be that pause, take a look, take your spreadsheet, outline each of the features in the solutions you currently have. This new solution you're thinking about, what is it that it can do? Then look at it. Is there overlap? Look at that overlap. Look at the outstanding ones, features that the new one have, and ask yourself, do I really need this at this point? That is exactly how a mid-sized environment, a CIO in a mid-sized environment needs to approach technology. Otherwise, you're going to bloat your cost. In fact, they're going to be asking you questions about and one of the things, another point is that you look at cost-benefit analysis. Now, you've seen that there's also no success metrics. You want to talk to a board about how you want to increase your cost from last year because you want to bring AI into the mix. Now, the question you want to ask yourself, they're going to ask you, okay, so what is going to be the success metrics for this? And how is it that this AI is going to solve the problem? If it doesn't boil down to the numbers, it is not useful. It needs to boil down to the actual numbers because that is what the business is all about.
Numbers.
Exactly. So if you can find a way to bring it down to the numbers, let me give you an instance. Let's say a technology, an engineering team, as an instance. You were supposed to build a product for the product was supposed to last 6 months, right? And maybe you were supposed to do it with a 4-man team. Then a mid-size, like you said, 4-man team as an instance. Then you did it with 3, and in 3 months you brought in AI. Then that's the metrics. You are able to show it to the CEO and also to the C-level that look at it. It took us 3 months to achieve this goal with less people. then if you calculate the numbers, you can boil down to numbers. How much was the pay of this person that wasn't, that didn't come into this project? And how much is the pay, your pay, the three of you pay for the next 3 months? So if you look at all of them, you can now come to that, okay, AI has been able to save us time and so amount of money. Then it is easy for you to actually provide that real value, to show that real value to the C-level. Because at the end of the day, beyond the buzzword and everything, you also want to ensure that whatever current tool you have, do they have the capacity that you actually need without you having to bring additional ones? Imagine how many people actually know that there is Copilot, right? Copilot within the office suite itself, right? There are some
Most
licenses.
People don't know.
Exactly, there are some licenses that you're already paying for as a CIO within a mid-sized organization. But practically maybe you're using Office 365. There's some licenses, even if you're using Gmail. Google also has its own Gemini right there inside the same work tools. Now you want to ask yourself, what other features are you really looking for? Like I said, use case is the first thing. You need to understand what use case you want to use it for. Then also you also now need to start measure the metrics, right? When you measure the metrics, you are now able to to show it to the to the organization that this is the benefit, and we think that with this benefit you are able to, we should be able to do more and save costs within this area and do better within this area, improve professional efficiency in this area. So I think with all of that, you should just pause and think, what I currently have, what capabilities do they have, and how do I really need anything new? What's my use case? Can the current capability that I have, can they solve the current use case that I have? That's the question you should ask.
Thank you, Shego. Yeah. The goal is not to deploy AI everywhere. The goal is to deploy it where it makes a difference, where it improves efficiency, where it enhances decision making, where it reduces operational friction, and that requires intentionality. What is important is how well AI is understood, how well AI is aligned, how well AI is operationalized within the business. Because at the end of the day, technology itself does not create value. What creates value is how technology is applied within real processes, within real teams, and within real decisions. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Beautiful Skill. To my guest, Shego, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Your contributions are insightful and educative. I'm glad you joined. Thank you again. If this conversation was valuable to you, please share with a decision maker, a technology leader that is focused on driving real outcome with AI. Until next time, build intentionally and scale intelligently. Bye-bye.